Hi, my name is Moon Teitel. I'm with the Women's Wellness Circle and my personal practice, Presence Heals. And I wanted to share an experience I had last night. Our country is going through a lot right now, and yeah, I'm usually pretty careful with my nervous system. That's what I needed to do in healing from long-term illness, and I don't normally listen to the news or engage in social media at night. That's what I found I need to do in order to be able to be healthy and whole and okay. And it's been feeling really important to me to bear witness to what's been happening in Minnesota and around the country right now. And so I stayed up fairly late 2 nights ago, just bearing witness to the protests, bearing witness to the conduct of the police, and sending. Whenever I do that, I'm sending love and prayers through and into the situations that I'm witnessing. And I want to be really clear. I'm not saying that sitting at home in my comfortable seat, sending love and prayers is enough. I'm saying that's one of the ways that I show up in support of the tremendous injustices and the tremendous difficulties in our world right now. And so I did that, and that was 2 nights ago, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I had some night terrors, and then last night they were worse. I also was bitten by a tick recently, and for me, there's a certain tick-borne infection that gives me night terrors like nothing else. So, there's different factors coming in here, and that's how it is for all of us. And and I wanted to share what my experience was when I was up in the middle of the night last night with extreme night terrors, the kind I only get when there's infections active in my system. Um, is that I was laying there, and what woke me up was I felt this like kind of dark energy moving right outside um, my door, and I could see it, and it woke me. And I was laying in my bed, unable to move, and my heart was gripped. And I don't know if I've used this word yet, but it's terror. What I experience with these types of infections is an unrelenting, unremitting, all pervasive terror. And that terror was there. And I asked myself this question. I said, what response am I in right now? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And um and I said, what's my nervous system doing right now? And I was like, I don't know. And then I made the journey from my head down into my body to inquire, and I asked myself the question, am I in flight? And I was like, no, I'm not in flight. And it's like my heart's completely squeezed, and there's terror coursing through my limbs. And I was like, okay, but I don't feel like I'm not running away. And then I was like, am I in fight? Am I ready to fight? And I was like, no, I don't feel myself fighting. I'm not sure what I feel. And then I was like, oh, I'm not sure what I feel. I don't feel myself fleeing. I don't feel myself ready to fight. I'm frozen. I'm frozen. I'm frozen. And I'm in between this place of fight and flight and frozen, and I can't move. And just the recognition of that, just asking myself the question of that, it opened up the experience just a little bit. And I'm not saying a lot, I'm saying just a little bit. And then from there, I wasn't even able to move my hands, another clue that I was frozen. So I was not able to start tapping. But what I did do is I visualized the points. And I visualized the points. I visualized my fingers going up to my eyes. My actual fingers didn't move. I visualized my fingers going up to my eye. I visualized my fingers coming and going through all the tapping points. And as I did that, I just said, I'm frozen. I'm terrified. I'm frozen. I'm terrified. Our world is burning and people are hurting, and I'm afraid. I'm afraid for all of us, and I'm afraid for myself right now. I'm frozen. and I'm terrified. I just kept visualizing going through the points until things opened a little bit, enough that I could move my hand. And I couldn't tap. My nervous system did not want tapping. Then at that point, I began to hold the points and to just name my experience and to just acknowledge my experience. And my heart is being gripped and squeezed in fear. I can't feel my legs. There's pain running through my arms. Like I just went through the whole experience, just naming the pieces, naming the pieces, naming the pieces until things opened a little bit. And I went back to sleep. And when I woke up this morning, I began to move and I just wiggled my toes and I wiggled my fingers and I invited movement back into my system. And, the echoes of the terror were with me. I wasn't in the full grips of it, but the echoes were there and I invited some movement into my system. And it's Sunday morning, which is the cleaning day in our household. So I mopped the whole house and I went for a walk and walked really quickly, moving my arms, just moving the experience through. And then I've just been really reflecting on how powerful it was when I was stuck in that terror experience that happens for me with infections. I think it happens to all of us for different reasons. For me, that's a trigger for that. And never before have I said to myself, oh, where am I? Am I in fight, flight, or freeze or flop? You know, but I didn't ask the flop question last night, but I'll add that, to an option for you to inquire. So I just wanted to share that because it was really, really helpful for me. And I also wanted to share it because sometimes we can completely shift what we're experiencing. Sometimes we can repattern. Sometimes we can let go. Sometimes we can open in the moment. And sometimes we can't. And in the times that are intolerable, and in the times where we are in complete overwhelm or complete shutdown, what we want, or in complete pain, what we want to look for is how can we create just a little more space around what we're experiencing right now? How can we offer a little more presence, a little more connection, and a little more holding? And this is what I did last night that helped me. And so I'm sharing that in the hopes that it may help you. And I just really want to acknowledge the deep injustice in our world and the pain and difficulty moving through all of us in different ways right now. And my commitment to show up to the injustice, to keep learning, to keep growing, and to show up for the ecological crisis we're in, for the pandemic, for all the injustice in the world, for the racial inequality, for the genocide in this country and around the world. And just to say, I'm learning and I'm growing and I have a lot of awakening to do. And I'm with you on that journey and I'm here. So reach out if I can be of support in any way. And just to acknowledge we're all moving through this together. This is all moving through us in different ways, through our individual constitutions, our individual ancestral experiences, our individual lives, our karmic histories, our personal histories, our trauma histories, our skin color, and how we experience the world, and whether we have illness or full health. And I'm here and I'm with you and I'm here to help, and anything I can offer that opens your pathway forward into the fullness of your life, into the fullness of your meaning and purpose and contribution to our wounded, fractured world, as we all continue on this path and try to show up and support each other and acknowledge our differences and hold each other in love and continue to grow and continue to heal and continue to live. Thank you.